One of the important issues that came up in this book, that we're almost towards the end of it, is the complete elimination of the family structure. No mom, no dad. Okay, and it actually convinced the inhabitants of New London that having a family was an obscene thing. And it's actually like a bad word to say, oh, a mother. And to think about a woman carrying a baby in her body was like, ugh, primitive. Okay, so the first question I have for you is, why did this happen? Why did the state find the need to completely eliminate the family structure? Who wants to answer that? Or I'll start calling names. I'm going to start calling names. Okay, so some of you owe me a whole lot of grades. So I'm going to pick on you. Let's come to an agreement. Those of you who owe me grades, you know who you are. Let's come to this agreement. Oh, there are people waiting. Sorry. Oh, the kid left. Wonderful. I don't know who that was. Let's come to an agreement that since it's going to be very near impossible for some of you who owe me 6 grades because module 6 is dropping this weekend, let's just say that I need you to participate more in class. And I'm going to kind of forgive you a little bit. So let me pick on somebody to answer that question. The question is, why was it necessary for the state to completely eliminate the structure of the family structure with a mother and a father, and take over the child? Why? And let's start with Adrian in the dark. What was the purpose?
Most likely it was to have the power over the child. If no one is there to protect it, then that means that the state can do whatever it wants with the child and teach them whatever they want and think it's appropriate. So yeah, that's the reason.
Okay, everybody agrees with this? Yes? Thumbs up if you do. You didn't hear what Adrian said? He said because the state wanted to. Yeah, what were you saying, Adrian? Repeat it.
So they wanted to erase family, or at least parents, because that way they can do whatever they want to the child. Nobody's there to protect them, so they can do whatever they want with them.
Perfect. So my question I'm gonna add to that is there ever a situation in which it's okay for the state to take over? Is there ever a situation in which it's okay for the state to take over a child or to remove a child from the parent's home? Yes? Give me some examples. When is it okay for the state to remove a child or take a child away from its parents?
The child, you think there's a lot of company, association, I don't know how to say it, that when there's a problem of a family taking the custody of their child, they help the family take care of the child, and that means they take the child away from the family as long as possible until the parents get along or solve the situation of who is going to take care of the kid. That thing, I don't know how it's called.
So what would be the situation? You say that there's no stability in the home. Is that why it's okay for the state?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a lack of stability. What would be another situation in which it's okay for the state to remove a child, take the child away from the parent? Think, people.
Abusive parents.
Abuse would be a good situation. Yes, that's another one. What would be another one? Can you think of another one?
Abuse is the same as neglecting.
No, it's not the same. So yes, neglect would also be. Okay, so I have a story for you. What happens if the family is just poor. Is it okay for the state to take the kids if the family is just poor, really poor, and can't afford food? No? Yes?
There might be those kind of scenarios, but I don't think that happens usually.
Okay. So I have a story for you. There is this family living in a country far, far away. The family had 4 kids. The 4 kids were adopted from another country far, far away. And the 4 kids were brothers and sisters, and this couple adopted all 4 of them. But of course, it was too much for them to handle. And so, long story short, the parents killed one of the kids. Let's not get into details, true story, it happened. So one of the kids was murdered. And so both parents are now in prison. And the kids have been taken by the state and nobody knows exactly what to do with them. So there are 3 kids left and the state is in charge of them. And they're like clueless. What are we supposed to do with these kids while their parents are in prison, awaiting a court, whatever, for murdering their 4th child? Do you think in a situation like this, it's the state's responsibility to take care of those kids? And do you think the kids should ever be returned to the parents? Sally says no. No what? Never return to the parents? Okay. And what about the state being in charge of taking care of the kids now? Do you think it's okay for the state to be in charge of those kids now, or should they just send them to different family members of the adopted parents?
Teacher, I was about to say yes, but what is it? Orfanatos? The orphanage?
Orphanage.
Almost all of them are being, controlled by the government. So it's hard to say. And the government likes to lie all the time because they mix and cover the real truth about the situation of the kids. Like, for example, Malambo, there's a bunch of monjas in there, but who knows if the government is really, controlling the situation there and the people, and how they cover it by putting a lot of monjas ahí and the Bible and God and everything, and you will be taken care of here, okay? Maybe.
So what you're trying to say is that there's a lot of abuse in these places and then nobody finds out? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, but I mean, the abuse of power. Like, yes, I want to take my kid here because I don't trust nobody. But then you go to these kind of places and there's no one to trust there either.
Okay, so then in this case that I just mentioned, what should happen to those kids? Should they be sent to family members or should the state be in charge of them? Who wants to tell me? Let's see, let me keep picking on. Go ahead.
I just think that if they were adopted, they don't have family members. So
But wait, if they were adopted, the people who adopted them is now their family. So they're family members.
yes, but they are adopted. So why they are not with their real family? So I just think that they have to find a new family for these kids.
Okay. Okay.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Diane.
I think that it's easy to say like they can find another family, but we have to remember that orphanages are saturated and it's very difficult nowadays for a child to be with a new family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these kids are age 4, 4, 8, and 10, because there was one who was 6 who was murdered. So there's 4, 8, and 10. Okay, and so sometimes it's okay for the state to step in and take a child. Sometimes the best thing is for the child to grow up with his family. And these cases have to be studied very, very carefully. But let's talk about the concept of family. I want you to give me a definition of family. What does family mean to you? What does family mean to you? Because we're going to discuss some of the common beliefs that are quite dangerous about family. Okay, so one of the beliefs that we're going to discuss is the fact that family is everything, and you should always defend and protect and be with your family no matter what's going on. That's a very dangerous belief that we're going to try to discuss today. But first of all, give me your definition of family. What is family? And I'm going to start with Brenda Lucia. What do you understand by family? Yes, you.
How do you say confiar?
Trust.
I will say that for me, family is persons if you can trust, but not all the time.
Okay. What about you, Ana Lucia? What is family?
I think basically is a group of parents that is always gonna be with you, like supportive, be always with you, be someone you have to trust and in everything, because if you don't tell any details, let's say you got in trouble, you don't tell all the details to your parents gonna defend you, but they just can't tell you because you didn't tell them the truth. So you have all to tell them the truth, because they don't know if the kids are saying or lies or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Amir, what is family? This is an interesting view of Amir. It's so cute. Oh, there you go. What's family, Amir? How do you define family?
Well, family for me, family is like a team because all the person that conform the family work together.
Okay, that's nice. Aranza Coronado, how would you define family?
For me, family is not only the one that has the same blood. I don't know if you understand what I mean. It's people that you love and that they also love you. And as Brenda says, people that you can trust, and those people that you could be yourself with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that you know that will always be there for you.
Nice. One more person. Let's see, Layali. How do you define family?
People that is with me in good and bad moments, and people that I can trust.
Okay, nice. What about, look, family, nobody is going to love you like your family, and nobody's going to hurt you like your family. So the people who have the most power to love you are family, and the people who have the most power to hurt you are your family. So what about family members that hurt you? How should you deal with that? I'm going to give you an example. I know a young woman who, her brother, from the time she was a little girl, he raped her over and over and over again for many years, okay? And she never told anybody because he was family, it was her brother. And a few months ago, I was very, I think a little sad when I saw that she posted on Instagram, happy birthday to her brother, el mejor hermano del mundo, te amo hasta la luna, eres lo mejor que me ha pasado, gracias a Dios por mi hermanito. And I was like, but he raped her for many years and she is still trying to deal with that trauma. Why would she do that? And it's because of this concept that we have, which is very dangerous, that family is everything and you have to defend family. So where do you draw the line? Where do you decide, hey, this person might be my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, my brother, but this person is very toxic and I need to not have a relationship with that person? How can you decide that if you still have this idea like family is everything, defend family, family first, defend family? How does that, how do you do that? How do you reconcile that? And this difficult question goes to Moises.
I think that it depends on how many people live with you, because the ones that live with you are the closest to you. But I would draw the line with my mother and my father. That's it. Like, apart from them, I know that they would have their best interest in mind for me because I know them. I cannot speak for everyone, because you might have an alcoholic father, or I don't know, something mother. So it's different for everyone, but I would say that those are the only ones that you can blindly trust at first, unless they betray your trust. I don't know. Many things can happen, but those are the only ones, because your aunt or your grandma, or I don't know, a lot of people in your family don't really know you as well, and they don't care about you as much. Like, you might have your aunt, like, oh yeah, it's my favorite aunt, no sé qué, but no, I don't think there's that trust that you have with your mother or your father. And also, the aunts tend to be very like chismosas, very gossipy, and they always be saying things like, oh sí, se cortó el pelo y no sé qué, hizo esto, hizo lo otro. They always spread rumors around your family. That's bad. That's really bad.
Okay, that's kind of true. Okay, yeah, I like your point of view, Moises. And so, Natalie, this question is for you. Do you think that you should always defend family just because they're family, or should you be able to say, hey, this person hurt me, I'm not interested in having a relationship with that person? What do you think, Natalie?
Okay, I think there are points in which if you feel affected about something, you should make the decision to take apart from that. Because then if something is affecting you and you know it's affecting you, why are you going to stay there? So I think if you don't feel comfortable with, I don't know, in any relationship, in friends, family, or whatever, I think that it's better to get apart from there.
Yeah, I like what you're saying, Natalie, because the thing is, a lot of people think, like, for instance, like toxic secrets, you have to keep them because no, nobody must find out because it's the family, which is the case of the young woman that I mentioned, that her brother raped her like for a long time. And still on social media, she's like, hermano, mejor del hermano del mundo, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that she said was that when she tried to talk to her parents about what was happening, they told her like, no, 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 he's your brother. He's your blood. Don't say anything. You can't embarrass your family. Family's first. Family's everything. Only family. Okay, so do you think that this point of view that you gotta keep secrets, you gotta defend the family, if they did something wrong, you just gotta smile through it, do you think it can actually end up being hurtful to a person, or is that the way it should be? And this is Mary Romero. Please repeat the question. Do you think that you should keep toxic secrets just because it's family, or do you think that it's you should defend your family always and make other people believe that your family is united and happy because it's your family and your blood is important and blah, blah, blah? We can't hear you, Mary Romero.
Now?
Yes.
Okay. I think that is stupid to don't share that secret, because they are still humans. They can do something bad. even if they are our own parents, they can hurt us and they can take bad decisions. So I think that we always need to talk about the things that hurt us and the things that we don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the reasons why so many people keep toxic secrets is because they don't want to tear the family apart or let the family stay together. And so when you do that, when you make the decision of keeping a secret because you want to keep the family together, you're actually being disloyal, yeah, to yourself because you need to defend yourself. But if you choose to keep the family secret instead of defending yourself, you're being disloyal to yourself. Okay, so here's another case. But first, going back to the case of the young woman and the brother who raped her, what do you think she should have done? Because I got another case for you. I got three. What do you think she should have done? Should she
Well,
have her brother's secret? Go ahead, Amir.
if her parents give the trust, then they are like the parents that the parents that you can trust, she could go with them and start talking what was going with her brother. And if that is the case, if the parent can be like open with her and will listen to her.
Mhm. Mhm. One of the things that happens a lot within families, not always, if there is ever a case of rape or incest, it's usually your closest family members that do it. This idea like some stranger on the street raped you, that's usually not true, okay? Rape and incest, oh, sorry, my computer's not working. Rape or incest usually takes place with the people closest to you. And one of the reasons, a lot of cases that I have dealt with during the years, that the parents or whomever says, oh, don't say anything because it's family, they usually say, we don't want your uncle to go to prison, or we don't want your grandfather to go to prison, so please don't say anything. Let's keep this secret. Okay? So you have to go to family dinners and look at the person who abused you and smile and say, Feliz Navidad, to keep the family structure. Because nobody wanted abuelo to go to prison, y pobrecito tu abuelo. Okay, so that's unhealthy. That's horrible. And if the abuelo did something awful and he needs to be in prison, well, that's his own fault. And we should not let the victim have to keep the secret to protect the family structure, because years go by and the person is going to suffer the consequences of that. So the second case, this young woman, her father abandoned her when she was like 6 months old. And she never heard from him again until she was about 23. And she was in the university studying architecture. And suddenly an aunt calls her like, oh, your dad is really sick and he needs somebody to take care of him. Come back to El Interior and live here and take care of your dad. She didn't even know the guy. He abandoned her at 6 months. She needs to leave her studies to go to his house and take care of him. What's your opinion of that? Do you think this is something that she should do? Is this fair? Is this good? Who hasn't spoken yet? Janice, you just got in here. Oh, and Genesis hasn't spoken either. So after Janice, Genesis. Go ahead, Janice. What do you think?
She don't have me to. She don't have to need to. And I think she obviously will feel guilty if she doesn't go. Because that's how family sabotage you. Like they always manipulate you like emotionally. And of course, if she doesn't go, they'll get like, also you don't love him, like you're just meeting him. So she doesn't have to. And people have this normalized idea that when you have to love your family, like it's not a. I don't think it's something important that you have to be in communication with your family. Like if they don't treat you right, just don't talk to them.
Genesis, what do you think?
I think it's not her obligation to go there. And I know a lot of people could be like, oh, but it's your father or something like that. But they need to like understand her situation that she have never saw him. He left her, so she like needs to take a time to think about it.
Mhm. Good point, both of you. Oh, Mary Foster, you haven't spoken either. Or have you? No, you haven't. Okay. So do you have anything you'd like to add to this? Oh, and Mary Foster, before I forget, tell your brother that he uploaded the wrong module for spelling. He sent me last week's. Oh, he's there? Oh, yes, let him listen. He sent module 4 instead of module 5, and I need you to send me the correct module. Isn't he cute? Okay, Sean, so spelling, send me the correct module. Yep, okay. Go ahead, Mary.
I think there's something that I've heard that says like father is not the person that made you, but the person that actually made and help you grow through the process. And he's not even like that father. He's almost like a stranger to her. They're telling her to come to another place where she don't even know the person, to take care of almost a stranger and just abandon her studies and abandon almost herself. I don't think it is something that she should do actually.
Yeah. Yeah, because one more time, like I said a few minutes ago, you need to be loyal to yourself. And yes, as Janice mentioned, she might feel guilty because people are like, but ultimately she needs to do what's best for her, not for him, because he did what was best for him. And if he's sick, I would offer to pay somebody to take care of him. But for you to live your life to go and take care of somebody who was not there for you, that's not really fair. Okay, but as I think it was Janice who said, or somebody, no, Aranza said that family is really more than blood. It's about the people who love you. And that's extremely important. Because if we continue to hold on to this thing like, oh, but they're family and these people are destroying you, but oh, they're family, you are not going to be able to live the life that you came here to live. You need to surround yourself with the people who love you and who are there for you, not the people who have similar DNA with you. Because sometimes they are not really interested in your well-being, and that's okay. That's okay, because family, somebody also said, they're just human beings. They are going to make mistakes. Okay, so that's the second case. And I have a third case for you. So do you think that, okay, here's the case. This young woman got pregnant, had a baby, couldn't take care of the baby. So she gave the baby to her mother. And when the little girl was like 12 years old, she came back like, oh, I'm better now. I'm your mom. You need to come and live with me. Do you think this little girl, or do you think this mother has any right to take this little girl away from the grandmother that raised her all this time because the mother showed up? What do you think? And let's go to somebody who has not spoken much. And you've all spoken. Okay, let's go back to Adrian. You started out. Let's go back to you. Are you talking? Because we don't hear you. Not a word from you, Adrian.
No, it's
Or thinking or what?
it's not working. Hello? Hello? It's not working.
Oh, okay, that's.
It's not working.
What on earth is going on over there? Okay, that was fun. Let's move on to Eduardo Soto. What do you think? This little girl was abandoned to grow up with her grandmother, and then suddenly her mom appears like, I'm your mom, come live with me. What do you think?
Like, please, mama, do the hard work for me. Then I'm coming years later to do the rest of it. I don't know. That's like if they get in an agreement, like, okay, I took care of your daughter. Here you have it now. There's no problem. But if there is a problem, then I don't know. That haven't been sent to authorities or anything. It's just like no es tan importante. It's gonna happen anything. Maybe she might stay with her grandma. Maybe she'll go back with her mom. Who knows?
Do you think the mother has authority to come back and take the child?
She has no power, or maybe she has. I don't know.
Okay, let's go to Layali. What do you think? Ah. Yes, Layali, what do you think?
The mom doesn't have the power to be with the child because she perdió. She lost the authority the day she gave the child to her grandma.
Mhm. Okay, and what about from the child's perspective? Sally, do you think the child would be affected because of this abandonment?
Well, of course, yeah. All of us have that feel that we love our fathers and our mothers, and nobody can, nadie nos puede quitar ese sentimiento. So I just think that these girls will always think that she needs her mom, but I just think that her mom have a decision. She decided to abandon this little girl. So and now this little girl has a decision of decide if she want to go with her mom or stay with her grandma.
Okay.
She has that power.
Mhm. So do any of you see any difficulties in the relationship between the mom and the little girl? Do you think that there could be some type of difficulty there?
Yeah. Because the emotional bond she created with her grandma will never be the same as her mom because she doesn't saw her as a mom figure growing up. So I mean, yes, we naturally have to breast the kids, feed them the breast, but if your grandma is giving you like sippy cups with milk, like that's their mother. Breastfeeding doesn't mean anything. So I don't think that people know that, oh yeah, she's gonna be my father and he's gonna be my mother. So her grandma is her mother. That's her mom figure. And I think it's gonna be she's gonna have a big time with that trauma, like developing and how to creating a bond with her mom. I don't think it's gonna be the same, but yeah, she's gonna have difficulties.
Yeah. And there's also the issue of abandonment and the resentment, okay? Because if this little girl knew that her mom abandoned her, she's gonna have some kind of feelings in there towards that mom, which might come out in behaviors, in different types of unacceptable behaviors. Okay, people, so in conclusion, family is important. That's true. And it's really good. I think Amir was the one who said that family is like a team. You work together. But I think that one thing we need to all remember is that if there's somebody in your family structure who is hurting you, you don't need to protect and defend these people. You need to speak up because ultimately, I love what Aranza said, family is not only about blood, it's about the people who love you and the people who are going to be there for you and going to defend you. And some of you, I think Brenda and somebody else mentioned the people that you can trust. So yes, you will have toxic family members. That's normal. You will have la tía bochinchosa, like Moises said. Yes, that's normal. You need to choose, who am I going to spend my time with? Who am I going to tell my secrets to? Who am I going to look to for guidance? And not just think like, oh, because she's my family, I have to accept everything she does and I need to just always be there for her. No, you can pick and choose in your family who you really want to create that bond with and who just needs to be ignored. So one of the main reasons why family was completely eliminated in New London is precisely so, as you mentioned, some of you at the beginning, so that the state would have complete control over the kids and would be completely in charge of everything that the kids learn. Because allegedly we learn moral values and a whole lot of other stuff from our families. But if we don't have that structure, then whoever is in charge gets to inject our mind with whatever nonsense they think they need at the moment. So yes, family structure had to be eliminated. Last question for you. Do we have any evidence in 2021 that the family structure is being destroyed? Is there any evidence of this? Come on. Think about, is there evidence that the family structure is in danger? That it's being weakened or destroyed? I'm gonna start calling names. Diane Otero.
Any evidence of the family structure being?
We hear it a lot. Están destruyendo la estructura. We hear this a lot in society, in schools, in churches, on the news, on TV, wherever. Is there any evidence, Diane?
Okay, this is not what I believe, but I have listened that there are these persons that goes to, to street and start like protest against homoparental families. So these persons believe like, oh, they are distracting the family structure and these things. So I think that will be my point. Okay, I don't believe this.
Okay. Anybody else? Is there evidence?
Yeah, it's the same as Diane said, but they were saying that homoparental and I don't know whatever LGBT community will have want to have like a baby or something. They were saying that they are destroying, but moms and dads doesn't like straight couples doesn't learn with a book. I mean, yes, they are books, but not most of the time they read it. But they don't born with parent skills, like they learn by experiences. And I think that there's nothing destroying families that have to do with sexuality.
That's a huge issue these days. Okay, so we don't have time to go into that, but I think that's interesting that a lot of people are thinking that gay marriages are destroying the family structure. Would anybody like to tell me why? Why are gay marriages destroying family structure from your perspective? Not to say you're right or wrong, just to say something. Anybody?
They are conservative.
Okay, but are they really destroying the family structure? I mean, the gays. No? No? Anybody thinks yes? No? Okay, so that's an interesting thing that you need to think about. Okay, people, we're at the end of the book. In your next module, your last module, which is module 6, we finish off. Please watch the movie. It's 3 hours long. Watch 15 minutes a day. That's what I did. Yes, start watching that movie so that you can have that last module and we can have our last discussion. And next trimester, this is the book, Woman at Point Zero. It's an Egyptian novel. Really, really good. So those of you who did not read the book the entire trimester, people, I know who you are because I've seen your answers and they're not good. I encourage you to watch the movie so that at least your last module can make sense. Okay, you know who you are. I'm not going to be calling your names. Watch the movie, people. It's terrible, terrible quality, and it's old and it's 3 hours long, but watch it because there's a lot in there that you are going to need tools for your real life. Okay, any questions? No questions? No? Okay, bye-bye. See you next time.